The sun hadn't fully risen over the training compound when the laughter started. It was the kind of sharp, restless laughter that comes from exhaustion mixed with ego. A new class of SEAL candidates had arrived 3 weeks earlier, and already they carried themselves like legends in progress. Sand still clung to their boots from dawn drills, sweat soaked through their shirts, every muscle ached, and yet somehow they still had energy to mock what they didn't understand. She walked onto the training deck without announcement, no convoy, no dramatic entrance, just a single black SUV pulling away quietly as she stepped forward. She wore simple fatigues, sleeves rolled neatly, hair tied back, sunglasses shielding her eyes. No medals, no visible insignia, no introduction. To the rookies, she looked like another administrative officer or maybe a logistics supervisor. Not someone important, just someone in their way. One of the rookies nudged another. "Who's that?" "No idea," someone muttered. "Probably here to observe." Another smirked. "Bet she's about to give us a speech about discipline." They chuckled. The lead instructor, a hardened master chief with 20 years of service etched into his face, noticed her arrival immediately. His posture shifted almost imperceptibly. He didn't rush, he didn't salute, he simply gave a small nod of acknowledgement. That subtle exchange went unnoticed by the rookies. She stepped closer to the edge of the deck, watching the candidates struggle through push-ups in the sand. Her expression was unreadable, calm, analytical. One rookie, tall and loud, pushed himself up and glanced sideways at her. "Hey, ma'am," he called casually between reps, sarcasm dripping from his voice. "You here to check our paperwork or something?" A few of the others snorted. The Master Chief's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. He was waiting. She stepped forward slightly. "Continue your reps," she said evenly. Her voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. There was something about it that carried. The tall rookie grinned just slightly. "Just curious, ma'am," he added. "What's your rank?" Another chimed in, barely containing laughter. "Yeah, we gotta know who's watching us suffer." The question wasn't genuine. It was bait, a joke disguised as curiosity. They expected something low enough to justify their attitude. Lieutenant, maybe commander at best. Someone they could internally dismiss while still pretending respect. She removed her sunglasses slowly. The movement alone silenced two of them. Her eyes were steady, assessing each face in front of her. Sand stuck to their arms, sweat dripped from their brows. They were tough, determined, but raw, undisciplined. She let the silence stretch just long enough to become uncomfortable. "You want to know my rank?" she asked calmly. The tall rookie smirked wider. "Yes, ma'am." The others leaned subtly closer, sensing a moment. She clasped her hands behind her back. "Admiral." The word landed like a detonation. For a fraction of a second, no one moved. Then it hit them. Admiral. Not captain, not commander. Admiral. The highest authority most of them would ever see in person. The tall rookie's arms buckled. He collapsed face first into the sand mid-push-up. Another froze halfway down, muscles trembling, eyes wide. A third scrambled awkwardly to his feet before realizing standing without permission was even worse. The laughter evaporated. It didn't fade, it vanished. The Master Chief's voice cut through the air like steel. "On your feet." The rookies sprang up, scrambling into rigid formation. Sand clung to their faces. One still had a grain stuck to his lip. None dared wipe it away. The tall rookie avoided eye contact entirely. His cheeks burned hotter than the morning sun. The Admiral took one slow step forward. Not aggressive, not dramatic, just deliberate. "You're 3 weeks into training and already you think you understand rank." No one spoke. "You believe exhaustion entitles you to sarcasm. You believe potential equals accomplishment." Her gaze settled briefly on the tall rookie. It does not. The wind shifted across the compound. Even the distant sound of waves seemed quieter. "You asked my rank as a joke, but rank is not a punchline." The tall rookie swallowed hard. His throat felt dry despite the humidity. Do you know how many operations I've overseen? How many names I carry in memory? Silence. You don't, she answered for them, because you haven't earned the right to ask that way. The shame spread through the formation like wildfire. It wasn't loud, it wasn't theatrical, it was internal, heavy, crushing. The Master Chief stepped beside her but slightly behind, reinforcing the invisible line of authority. The rookies noticed that too. When you wear this uniform, the Admiral said, you represent more than yourselves. Every careless word reveals your discipline. She paused again, or your lack of it. The tall rookie felt heat crawl up his neck. His earlier grin felt like it belonged to someone else entirely. Sound off, the Master Chief barked. Yes, Admiral, the rookie shouted in unison, voices cracking slightly. She studied them for a moment longer, not with anger, but with expectation. Good, she said quietly. Now earn the privilege of that volume. She turned to the Master Chief. Continue training. He nodded sharply. You heard her. Down. The rookies dropped back into push-ups instantly, sand spraying beneath their palms. This time no one looked sideways, no one whispered. Every rep was sharp, controlled, focused. The Admiral stepped back toward the edge of the deck, observing again, but now the energy had shifted completely. The tall rookie's arms burned, but the pain felt different. It was no longer about proving himself to peers. It was about correcting a mistake, about rebuilding respect. After several brutal minutes, the Master Chief ordered them up again. Sweat poured freely. The Admiral approached once more. What's the first rule of this program? Discipline, Admiral, they shouted in unison. Second, respect the chain of command, Admiral. Her gaze lingered on the tall rookie. And how do you address a superior officer? His voice cracked slightly. With respect, Admiral. She nodded once. Good. There was no smile, no softening, but there was acknowledgement. The rookies felt it. The crushing shame began to transform into something constructive, a lesson carved deep. You will encounter people in this career who wear less visible rank than they deserve, she continued. You will also encounter those who wear more than they've earned. A subtle shift passed between her and the Master Chief. Your job is not to judge from appearance. Your job is to execute with humility. The tall rookie's breathing steadied. His embarrassment hadn't vanished, but it had direction now. Today, she said finally, you learned the cost of assumption. She replaced her sunglasses. Make it the last time. Without another word, she stepped away. The SUV returned quietly. She entered without looking back. The vehicle pulled off, leaving only dust swirling in the early light. The rookies remained frozen for several seconds even after she was gone. The Master Chief broke the silence. You think that was bad? He growled. That was mercy. They believed him. The tall rookie exhaled slowly. Admiral, he muttered under his breath, almost disbelieving. Another rookie glanced sideways. We're idiots. Correction, the Master Chief snapped. You were. Training resumed with renewed intensity. Every command executed faster, every movement sharper. The earlier arrogance had dissolved completely. In its place stood something stronger, humility. As the day wore on, whispers about the encounter spread through the compound. Other instructors heard. Senior operators nodded knowingly. Not because the rookies had embarrassed themselves, but because they had been corrected early, before it was too late. That evening, as the sun dipped low and the rookies sat exhausted on the barracks floor, the tall one finally spoke. I thought she was admin, he admitted quietly. Doesn't matter what you thought, another replied. She's an admiral. The word carried new weight now, not fear, respect. The tall rookie leaned back against the wall, staring at the ceiling. I'll never forget that. Across the compound, in a quiet office overlooking the water, the Admiral reviewed reports from the day. The Master Chief entered briefly. They'll remember it, he said simply. She nodded once. Good. He hesitated. You didn't have to come in person. She looked out toward the darkening horizon. "Yes," she said calmly, "I did." Back in the barracks, the tall rookie replayed the moment in his mind. The question, the smirk, the word Admiral, the collapse. The shame no longer felt crushing, it felt clarifying. In that single word he had understood something years of lectures couldn't teach. Rank is not about ego, it is about responsibility. And respect is not optional, it is foundational. The next morning, when another unfamiliar officer walked onto the deck, none of the rookies whispered, none joked. They executed their drills in silence, because somewhere in the back of their minds echoed a single word that had reshaped their understanding forever: Admiral. And they would never ask that question as a joke again.